And we are back on the live stream. Hi, welcome to the second... Well, hi and welcome to the second part of this listening party thing for the Flip the Sample Challenge, whatever thingy that we're doing. I did a 4-hour long live stream last night. We played 46 of these submissions that I got, a total of 79 now, including my own. We have 79 beats made from one single sample that I made and gave you guys. So I made a sample, provided it to you, you made beats with it, and you submitted your tracks back to me. Now we are listening to them. That's what we're doing for the second evening, my time, in a row. Because last night, 4 hours and 64 tracks, 46 tracks. Damn, 4 hours and 46 tracks, that's what we did last night. Today, it's not going to be as many, but there's still a bunch of beats to go through. A lot of stuff to be inspired from, be inspired by. And we already have a few people in the chat room. And I know that most of you guys have submitted a beat. I thought about this entire thing a little bit. We're going to play beats in a couple of minutes. That's for sure. But I thought about this for a little bit, and I find this thing to be so amazing and so cool and so inspiring and whatever, that we are going to do this next month again. Around like the first, I don't know how the weekdays goes. I'm going to try to make it land on a Monday as always, but around the 1st of April, the Monday after the 1st of April, I could just check a calendar, but I just haven't. At that point, we're going to have another deadline. I'm going to provide you with a sample in a couple of weeks. Gonna make something myself again. People are gonna flip it, make something out of it. We're gonna do this entire thing again. Because it's cool. Because it's that fun. You guys are awesome, and we had so many submissions last night that held a really, really high quality. I mean, we're talking really high bar here. The threshold is high. This is open for everyone, though. So even if it's your first beat ever and you're really a beginner, we would love to hear it. You know? It doesn't need to be professional and good or properly mixed or whatever. I don't care. If you use my sample for something creative and you think it's cool and you're kind of proud of it, we want to hear it. J to the K, you weren't here last night. Beat Platoon, I saw your submission, but I did not catch your name in the chat room yesterday. I had a little bit of an issue following along with the chat room, doing all the stuff. I have a spreadsheet with all the submissions and all the texts and everything. So, what do you guys think? Doing this again in 1 month seems to be a good idea. We did this poll yesterday and people seem to be kind of excited about it. So that's going to happen next month. Right now we're still in volume 1 of the Flip the Sample Beatmaking Challenge. So that's the spreadsheet. Zoomed out like a motherfucker. Let's zoom in. There we are. So last night we played 46 of them, and I marked all the ones that I've played as played, but they're still in the same list, so I'm gonna have a little bit of it's gonna be a little bit scrolling back and forth and looking for someone who hasn't been played, because I'm not that structured yet. I'm gonna become super structured, but I'm not right now. That's just the truth of it. I actually spilled coffee on my MPC. Just on the side of it. That's fine. So, I don't know. The mic volume should be like that, I think. So, let's jump into someone called... we're just going to jump right in. We have a lot of beats to play. You heard the sample in the intro with the logo thing and the black and white thing. That was the sample. I'm sure most of you already downloaded it and used it. But yeah, that's the raw material. That's the sample. Now we're going to get into the actual beats. First of all, with a submission from Aleandro Foritary. Yeah, all these names, it is kind of an issue. Aleandro Foritary. Aleandro Foritary. Yeah. Hi, and this is his message. This is his message. Hi, thank you for the sample. I just randomly had fun with it. I hope you enjoy. Yeah, me too. The first submission for today, for tonight, for part 2 of the listening party. It's a listening party. I'm having a party. Aren't you having a party? This is a party as much as I know. As far as I know. There we are, and that's the media player. It's called Music. Is that the one? That seems strange. The audio file itself is called Music Completion. Okay. Are we ready to roll? Are we ready to go? The first one? Yes or no? And then I'm going to wait for a yes, and it's going to take a minute, and it's going to be no. A cup of coffee at 8 p.m. Kind of necessary right now. Not going to lie. There we are. Alessandro, let's go. From the beginning. Gonna be fair. That's the first one for today. Freaking amazing. I mean, I know I used the viola or whatever it is, and also the cello, but this guy made it feel like almost a classical kind of sample, which is not, you know? What stands out about this one? Definitely the switch up. Basically 2 different beats. If all we had was this super distorted, bassy, kind of dubstep inspired thing, I would not have liked that. But together with the other section, the entire thing became something really cool. And it's also interesting to hear someone using the arpeggio kind of figure that much for that section. Inspiring. I would never do that myself with that sample. So, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff from Alessandro. I don't know why I say it like Alessandro. Just got to make sure that all my cameras are with us. That's the front camera. That's the right camera. That's the left camera. Works. And that's the back camera. Okay. It all seems to work. So, good. Let's dive back into... Okay, now I don't have disk space. Yes, I do. There we are. Alessandro, thanks a lot for sending it in. Awesome work. Really nice and varied. A lot of cool dynamics in there. Drum programming, everything. Totally. Good stuff. Now, let's grab someone else. Daniel Chitch. Daniel Chitch. That's what it's going to be, according to me. Daniel Chitch. Hey, Accurate. Thanks for being a part of your... Okay, I'm just going to read it as it says, but whatever. Thanks for being a part of your beatmaking challenge. I'm working on a small series called Boom Tech, blending classic hip-hop with electronic, techno-inspired sounds, and your sample fit that vibe perfectly. I make music purely for the love of it. I don't even have a music production Instagram or anything. I simply want to release tracks under the name CC Binks instead of letting them sit on my hard drive. Okay, this guy actually reached out. CC Binks, he reached out and sent me another version, I think. I'm not sure if that's allowed, but in this case, it's definitely allowed. So, I'm gonna need a few seconds to find him. I think he just... I accidentally sent you a version. Is that you? That's not you. Damn it! Was that on Instagram? Losing the pace already. I know. There we are. No, that was not that. That was something else. This track is ready to be played. He asked me about something else. Forget that. We're losing time, people. We are losing time. There we are. That's OBS. That's the camera. That's me. My face. The mic. The music. The browser? No. Okay. Daniel. Let's mark him already. Let's go. The sample, the second flip for today. Let's check it out. Yeah. Who said that? Super creative flip, super grimy. Someone said something about there will be less submissions today. Yeah, less, but 79 minus 46. Still a lot of tracks. Still a lot of beats. Almost too many, but this track was cool. I'm not like a hip-hop purist by any means. I really enjoy electronic stuff too, blended in if it's done well. In this case, super well done. Using the sample that way, that creatively, and then building so much stuff around it in terms of synthesizers and stuff that comes in and out. Appreciate it. That's really cool. Really cool. Different from many of the other submissions we've heard. I don't know. You call this boom tech? I guess that's a combination between techno or whatever and hip hop. I don't know, but I liked it. I enjoyed what I heard, and I think that what you did with the sample was really creative. Creative and inspiring, and that's what this entire concept is all about. Quality music, high quality art, and inspiration. And different ideas doing kind of the same thing. Not the same thing. You know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. Let's jump into Beet Jerky. That's another submission. That's another person. Not beef jerky, but Beet Jerky. Hi. Completely made in machine. Switched around the chords a bit. Bass from Moog Subsequent 37 with chorus. Added electric guitar in the last chorus. I hope you like it. Greetings from Germany. We do have a few submissions from Germany. Not hating that. Berlin is one of the best cities in the world. Oh, service unavailable. Trying to download the file and I got service unavailable. No, now it worked. Cool. Only makes me a little bit worried that I got some kind of error. But here we are. Beet Jerky. Let's go! I like how he squeezed in my little cuteness there at the end, leaving the sample as it was. You know, this is someone who had a lot of fun making this track. That just translates. Music that you're supposed to listen to at a loud volume has a different kind of quality to it. Super aggressive, super gritty, super dirty, super much with everything. Someone said that, yeah, this beat speaks German. And yeah, almost. That bass sound combined with everything else, you know, using this sample is kind of dark, kind of sad, and kind of, you know, a little bit sentimental or whatever. And using that kind of vibe and flipping it on its side to make it evil instead, I'm not hating that. It's a little bit too aggressive to my taste. You know, I'm not that cool of a guy to listen to stuff like that. That's that hard. But definitely great job. Great work. Impressive stuff. Right out the gate. Was this Beet Jerky? Yes, it was. Wasn't it? Made on machine. Yeah, that's him. Someone asked me to play my most recent machine beat, and no, machine is not even hooked up right now. So that's not gonna happen. I do still appreciate and love machine. Don't hate on it. It's fallen behind. We talked about that, but still, machine is cool. Now we have a submission from someone called Peter Kursov. And he says the following. Hi, it's Pod Santon Music. I sent you a track for a review before and was pumped you liked it. And then he includes the link. I saw the challenge and figured, why not? Anyway, straight to it. Here's the track, Peace Out to the World. From Pod Santon Music. I know I struggled pronouncing that name last time around, but yeah, Pod Santon Music. Still kind of doesn't make sense to me, but yeah, that's the name. And his submission is right here.
My tiger kung fu is better than yours. I don't think you're good enough to avenge your master. Admit it. Am I not much better than you?
Honestly, to me, it's kind of crazy how many people, including myself, used like the big guitar chord, the whole. But when I made it, I felt like, yeah, that's a little bit too much. That's going to be, it sounds like Nina Simone or Rissa, Kill Bill, whatever. People are not going to like that. A lot of people are including it. In this case, in a really cool way. Super deep and heavy and like super slow. Someone said they wanted a little bit more swing. Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. Using the string section like this too. Like the whole not a bad idea. I wish I would have come up with that, but I came up with something else for my submission. Whatever. Good stuff. Good stuff. And the little snare fill. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Peter Kursov. Thanks a lot for sending it in. Thanks a lot for, downloading the sample, spending the time to chop it up and make something with it, and sending it in and being... All of you are doing that. And all of you are fucking amazing for doing that. I can't stress that enough. I never thought I would have this many submissions. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Speaking of submissions, let's move into the next one. From the first name is Cuba Lewandowski. It's not that hard. Cuba Lewandowski. Hello, Accurate. To be honest, this is my first finished beat. For real? Hello, Accurate. To be honest, this is my first finished beat. Made on MPC 1 Plus. I used your sample twice here. I pitched it down 5 semitones, then I pitched it up +7, and it comes in the half of the track. Added some drums, bass, strings, and here it is. Awesome idea with this challenge. Well, thank you. I think it was kind of a good idea myself, if I may say so. But let's take into consideration that this is this person's first finished beat ever. That's, let's listen to it. Volume needs to be boosted. And it's now completely maxed out. That's better. Let's go! Man, is that your first finished beat ever? So much better than my first beat was. Kind of crazy. Honestly, there are things that could be worked on in terms of the mixing and stuff. It got all distorted here for some of the kick drums, and the entire thing was a little bit low. So not like evenly balanced and whatever, but it's your first beat. It's your first track. the idea for this track here, solid, 100% solid. The chops and the patterns and everything, it all worked. And I really appreciated that kind of hi-hat pattern. You know, the entire thing is kind of cool. It doesn't translate the way I think it deserves to translate, but that's, you know, composition, arrangement, mixing, mastering, all sorts of things. For your first beat ever, this is very well done. Very, very, very well done. I can't say nothing else. Good job. Everything is in tune, everything is on beat, everything is, you know, the mixing is a little bit all over the place, but that's to be, you know, of course, it's your first track ever. Come on. I think you did a great job with this one, for sure. You used the sample in a creative way. You made everything make sense. Impressive. Cuba Lewandowski, your first track ever made on the MPC-1. Yeah, pitching the sample like that is creative and smart, and that's something we all should do a lot. You did a good job. You did a good job. So let's move into the next submission for tonight. And the next submission for tonight comes from Steve Task Desper, who writes, "So, I sampled the very end of your sample track. It sounded like some kind of arpeggiator." Yes, it was. "I didn't have much time for this fun little project, but I love your stuff and I wanted to join in somehow on the fun. Took this into the direction of some classic reggae. Looking forward to the next one already. Stay safe, healthy, and God bless." From Brooklyn, Task 1 in Brooklyn, New York. Okay, cool. Cool. We've had 2 submissions, I think, with kind of an obvious reggae vibe. And here comes another one. Let's check it out. Yeah. I think that was the... okay, I'm struggling with my volumes today. Now my headphones are super loud on my voice, but not on the beat. Shouldn't affect you guys too much, but I'm still trying to work things out. I think this is the first submission we've had so far that used like the arpeggio thing and nothing else, which is totally allowed. You don't have to use, you know, a certain percent of the sample, whatever. I left that thing at the end because I thought, hey, let's do something that's a little bit different than just the same chords and stuff. For the sole purpose of people, you know, could use it. Yeah, that's the purpose of it. Using just that arpeggio for like the main part of the I guess it becomes kind of like a counter bass line for this. The bass line, the drums and everything, cool stuff. Cool stuff, and really interesting and definitely an inspiring way to use the sample. That's someone just listening to the entire thing and picking a part that everyone doesn't pick and focusing on that and using it, which is, super cool. Super cool. J to the K, yesterday Activate was a bit moody. I was not. I was in a really good mood yesterday. What are you talking about? Today I'm a little bit more tired. I went into this full energy yesterday, and now I'm still excited. This is still a lot of fun, but I didn't have the best sleep tonight, and it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not complaining. This situation is nothing to complain about. That dude has been played. Let's move into John Dominguez. John Dominguez, who says, not quite finished, but it's been fun. Looking forward for the next one if there will be one, and there will. Thanks for putting this together. Peace. Okay. There we are. Boom, boom, boom. John Dominguez. Let's hear it. As I said, something with the volume. Should be fine on your end. Kind of the same ending as the last one. He said himself that this was not completely finished, and I think I kind of know what he's talking about. It's a little bit repetitive, but hey, it's also interesting because many of us have, or pretty much all of us, have used the same sample. You know, that's the thing. So when I hear him cutting off the sample this way, it kind of bugs me because I know what the sample is and how it's supposed to be placed. So it's weirdly placed on the timeline, but it goes really well with the drums. So as soon as I kind of stepped out of that kind of mindset, I enjoyed this one. Different and cool and choppy in a way that, you know, it's unexpected compared to what the sample kind of invites you to do. And that's someone thinking outside of the box, and I think that's always to be praised. That's a good thing, for sure. Interesting stuff. I like the snare drum. The entire thing had a cool vibe. And you use the sample in a way that's super creative. Really, really fun. No one has chopped the sample like that and used this, you know, a sequence of the drums together like that in this way, chopping it off. Yeah, I like it. I approve. If you're asking for my approval. I know you don't. Fuck me. Now, this is a name I think we read yesterday. Marcel Starski, right? Let's see if we recognize the... No, we have not played this one. Hello again. You might remember me from last Beat review live stream from my Know My Hand track. Made you laugh and button up your shirt. Hopefully this one makes you smile too. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. For this track I used Rhodes and the strings from your sample. I chopped them up and came up with a couple of ideas. When I first heard the sample, I immediately thought they would work great in a drum and bass song. The track was made entirely on MPC Live 3. I hope you like it. So you made me laugh last time around and button up my shirt. I remember doing that, but I don't remember why. So this is drum and bass with my sample. Awesome. I've been clear about that from the beginning. You don't have to make hip-hop, boom-bappy, lo-fi kind of beats. You can do whatever. Obviously, drum and bass. Let's go.
When you hear the rhythm, start to move.
So my sample is definitely in there. You can clearly hear it in a bunch of different places. And what you did with the sample here? So many levels above me and how I think about using sounds together with rhythm and whatever. This tempo, this genre is alien to me. It just is. It's not that I hate it. It's just that I can't imagine myself sitting in front of my gear and making something like that. To me, it's just, whoosh, who are you? Super busy, super involved, super heavy, and a lot of stuff going on. Really intense stuff. But I mean, that's what drum and bass is, right? And also the dark and gritty kind of swing of everything. Cool stuff. I love hearing something I made in here being used that way. Not what I'm expecting at all. Some of these submissions, even though the bar here is really high and the quality is super high, some of the submissions have been more or less kind of expected. This, exactly the opposite. Unexpected, interesting, exciting, and yeah, it makes me smile because it's so crazy and so foreign to me. It's not that I hate it, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. We have a submission from someone called, I thought it said Accurate Beats, but it doesn't. It says Acetate. Acetate? Acetate? No, Acetate Beats. That's someone else. It's not me. Hi there. I found your channel last week after doing a Reddit sample flip. What? So I think Google is on to me. I saw this video and thought I would try to get something in. Starting today with just 3 hours to spare. Today did not particularly help. So I kept it fairly simple. I found a few chops. I played the selection with the violin. And then layered some more violins, a cello, a viola, and an electric piano. For the chorus, I translated my chops to MIDI and made some sense out of the chaos that provided me with the chaos that provided me with, and used that with a different key sound. That's an interesting workflow. I layered that with an electric guitar. Oh, and of course drums. Given more time, I might have tried to create a bit more space in the mix and added small touches like percussion and perhaps played some glitch effects. Anyways, I'm happy to get something down and look forward to hearing the other submissions. If there's a next time, I will give myself the proper time. Please do. Please do. And there will be another time later on. For now, I'm excited to hear what you did. It sounds like you have kind of a crazy workflow, but, you know, everyone's different. It's all good. Let's listen to Acetate. man, you made that like 3 hours before the deadline or something like that. That's impressive. What's really cool and what really stands out about this one to me is definitely that added guitar thing. Added so much harmony, so much of a vibe, and so it kind of like glued the entire thing together in a way that's really cool. Damn. That like 16-note hi-hat pattern also helps with the energy and the flow of it all. But yeah, super laid back, super nice and moody and vibey. That guitar thing. Ah, good stuff. You know, taking a sample, chopping it up, working with it, and creating music out of a sample is one thing. Doing that and adding your own elements on top of that to make it blend in and expand on the idea, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's good stuff. Acetate. You found my channel the other week from a Reddit thread or whatever. Thank you and welcome to the club, you know? Welcome to the club. I don't know. Welcome to the Accurate Beats universe. We make music. We listen to music. We sample stuff. You're one of us. Now, someone else who's definitely a part of us is this guy. Symphonic Beats. One of the regulars in my bi-weekly beat review stream, and here he is, again, Symphonic Beats. Hello, Accurate. I won't say much since the material used, but I'm looking forward to hearing all the other submissions. This was a fun challenge. I hope you do more of them. I am. I'm telling you. We're doing this again. Next time, maybe with a sponsor. And we're going to do kind of a lottery thing for something. Not promising much, but I'm just saying that might happen. So, Symphonic Beats, here we go.
Well, back in the 1970s, researchers over at MIT looked into this and they found that if we keep going the pace that we're going in, by 2040, society will collapse.
We all ready for these wars.
And guess what? She found that we're actually on pace.
We all ready for these wars. We all want war. It's the last day.
Matrix designed to distract you from the truth. The dead internet theory. We live, work, and die so that the wealthy and powerful can grow wealthy and powerful.
Almost 2 different submissions in one. I mean, this guy right here, Symphonic Beats, has such a great ear for finding sample chops. Using that kind of dum as a 3+1 kind of thing. Damn. No one thought of that so far, I think. And you just did it in a great way. And you know, this is right up my alley. This is exactly what I like about boom bappy kind of hip hop shit. And again, I'm just impressed by everyone who was able to do anything at all with the sample. And in this case, that's just some high quality shit right there. That's the sort of stuff I'm really, really into. Love the style of it, love the production, the layouts of everything, the vocal samples thrown in there, the drums. Damn, man. That's good. Good job. 100%. Symphonic Beats. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks a lot for being a part of the community. You are a good producer. Hands down. Good stuff. Do we have anything else? Yes, we do. There's a lot of names in here. Let's go with this one. Irwin Ewing. Irwin Ewing? Yeah. Greetings, Accurate. This is the second version, the better mix of my previously submitted version. Please disregard the first version. What? Do we have 2 submissions from the same guy? Not with the same name. We might be getting into some sort of issue here. Let's see. Doing that on this, like doing 2 submissions, referring me to the second one, that's going to be difficult. But whatever, this is the second version. Okay, cool. So let's take this one and download it. The producer for this one is Irwin Ewing. Purple Haze. Well, we played you last night. Purple Haze. I think we had you on last night, didn't we? In that case, I played the wrong version, and I'm sorry, it's impossible for me to keep track of stuff like that. Purple Haze, where are you? Let me just double check on this. I don't want to make any mistakes. Yeah, Purple Haze, you were played last night. Unfortunately, the wrong version, but you know, that's you fucking up and me fucking up. So blame me if you want. That's totally fine. And now I lost it. Damn! When? Okay. So, let's move along to Haunt the Keep. Haunt the Keep. Who says, "Hello, Mr. Beats. Thank you for the inspiration. I made this track on the MPC Live 3 with one of the breaks coming from the Amigo sampler. I didn't add any instrumentation aside from an 808 bassline and the vocal sample, just chopping up your sample and chopping up some breaks. Peace. THK. No, HTK. Haunt the Keep. Makes sense. Let's go.
Let your brains hang from the 808 bang. Let your brains hang from the 808 bang. Bang.
Man, oh man. We got taken for a spin. Damn. Again, like musical genres is, you know, is this jungle? Drum and bass kind of jungle? I don't know. I don't care. The amount of work put into this, I mean, just the sheer amount of drum hits and percussive elements and vocal samples and bass. Damn. I mean, understand me. Take my position here for a second. I spent like an afternoon to make a little piece of music and I gave it to you guys to make something out of. And someone sat down in front of his computer or sampler or whatever and did this with my sample. Completely bodied the sample, made something I couldn't expect ever. And it's also really good. High quality shit. I mean, come on. So impressive. A lot of work put into that. A lot of energy, a lot of details, a lot of chaos and energy and... A lot of you in the chat room seems to enjoy this one a lot too, and I did too. Even though it's a little bit much, I can't really listen to that kind of stuff because then I'm going crazy. But for this kind of challenge, it's just expands the way I think about production in a way that's nothing but inspiring, you know? I noticed that people submitted long pieces of music. I didn't know we didn't have a time limit, so my submission is 1:30. Yeah, I know. For the next one, I'm going to be more obvious and clear about stuff. Normally for the beat review, we have 2 minutes as a limit. In this case, I said, well, I'm not going to get a lot of submissions, so fuck it. Do whatever you want. And I didn't give a time limit. And then this is 4.5 minutes, 4:18. I guess that's fine. For this, it's totally fine. I haven't said anything else. But for the next one, we might set a time limit to make it kind of even. But, you know, if your submission is 1.5 minutes, I mean, that's not bad. 1.5 minutes. My submission is about 2 minutes. You know, I think 2 minutes kind of makes sense. Whatever. 4.5, 4:20, it's totally fine. Totally fine. Now I lost him. Haunt the Keep. That's him. Haunt the Keep. Jungle, drum and bass, whatever you want to call it. Impressive work. Impressive. Now, let's turn our attention to Salt Blasio. Salt Blasio. Who says the following? Hi, I'm Salt Blasio from Hungary. I made the music in Koala Sampler and I also used the Roland SP404 Mark II. The title of the music is Spring Wind. I'm happy about this event and I'm sure everyone made some great beats. Yeah, you couldn't be more right. You know, we've had a lot of great beats and you made something in Koala Sampler together with the SP404 and I'm excited to hear it. So let's go. I think that's the first time in these two streams I fucked up. That's the last submission. I thought like, yeah, that's really similar to the last one. It was the last one. So let's rewind selector. We're gonna listen to Salt Blasio right now. Wasn't me, the file just ended. Nice. What stands out about this one to me is like the uniformity of it all, if that's something you can say. That really tight subby bass line together with the drums, snappy and kind of nice and just easily digestible. Nothing too doesn't stick out in any way. It's just a nice piece of music. There's a lot of the sample in there, chopped in away. Now we've heard about 50, 55, almost 60 beats, something. 46 plus these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 46 plus 13. That's a lot of beats. We've heard a lot of flips of the same sample. And this kind of sad vibe combined with something a little bit more energized with the drums and everything. We've heard that a few times over, but none of the different submissions has been too similar to one another because it's all about you. It's all about your creativity and you kind of put your own mark on it. This guy did too, in a really good way. Nice and solid. Nice and solid. Salt. No, Salt played 02. That's the second. Whatever. It's a nice track. Nice and simple. I want to say nice and simple. It wasn't that simple. The mixing and the tightness of the bass line and everything, hit the spot. Now we have another we do have another submission. Toesy Beats. Toesy Beats. Something like that. Thanks for the inspiration and for listening. That's the entire message. Good enough. Thanks. You say thanks to me and I'm saying thanks to you because I think it's actually me who's supposed to be thankful. And I am. 100%. So Ceci, let's go. No, not so Ceci. Let's make sure we Toesy Beats. Let's go. Yeah, another one with the arpeggio as like the main part of it. That's cool. I mean, if you're using the arpeggio and the same tempo or like aligning the tempo and the thing, that arpeggio figure itself has a lot of potential. It has a lot of cool stuff in there. So flipping it like this with the whole it's not a bad idea. Not what I did for my flip, for my submission, but kind of a cool idea. And everything that happened there was kind of cool. I have to say that I'm reacting a little bit negatively to the bass frequency in there. A few kick drums or bass notes or whatever it was seemed to kind of mess it up a little bit in terms of the mixing. I saw my peaking here going all different directions at once. But whatever. Definitely a vibe, definitely a cool way to use the sample material by... Was this Toesy? I think it was. Yeah, it was. But the sample itself was like, the file was about 3 minutes long, something like that. And this entire little figure came at the end. If you want to grab that and make something out of it, that's super cool. Super cool. So let's get into one of the names here that I have a little bit of an issue with pronouncing. Ketal Quattro. Quetzal. Quetzal. Quattro. Okay. And the message goes like this. I'm new to making beats, This one was made on Koala one day before. I had forgotten the deadline. I thought it was the 3rd, not the 2nd. I had fun doing this. So another one working in Koala Sampler, the Koala app. Awesome. Let's give it a listen. I thought we got like a break. That's the entire thing. It's less than a minute. Nice snare sound. Works well with the bass and everything. Since I know it's on Koala, I can almost like see the interface in front of me and like someone going bottom, boom, bottom, bada bada bottom, boom, bottom, boom. That's cool. You know, that's one way to flip the sample itself. Just using it as a few different one-shots, just aligning it to the drums and making it swing. That's good. That's cool. Pitched up too. Almost got a little bit of a jazzy feel out of it. I do appreciate that. That's cool. That's cool. Ketal Quattro. Thank you. Played 02. Awesome stuff. That's a quick one. Less than a minute long. And who says it needs to be 2 minutes, or that it couldn't be 4 minutes, or that it couldn't be 32 seconds? That's totally fine. I'm just happy that you got to use the sample and it kind of made you think about something creative and you made something and, you know. Awesome. Next up, Beat Platoon. Beat Platoon with a submission. And okay, this came in a little bit later, so I don't have a message for it. Oh, it's actually in a different document. So the last like 4 submissions don't have the message attached. I think I can fix that real quick. Beat Platoon. Let's see if you are in this one. Then we need to sort it. Ascending. Scroll down. Beat Platoon. There's your message. Beat Platoon says, "Hey Accurate, hey chat. This is my submission for the Beat Challenge, made with Salt Sample Pack. Your samples. And some drums coming from your sample and some drums coming from. It's one of my first beats made on Machine Plus, so it might be different from what you've heard from me. Peace." Okay, so Salt is a sample pack I made years ago. It should still be available on my website for download for free. I'm gonna make another sample pack someday. So you used samples, like drums from the Salt sample pack, together with this sample, I presume. So Beat Platoon, here we go. Okay, is that too loud? Super loud over here, so. Cool. Pitching the sample up that much and doing that with it, I mean, that's borderline what I would have done if I just heard the sample from a different kind of source or whatever. Good work. Good job. Good stuff. Doing the whole double tempo thing kind of took me out of it. I got like, hey, what's that? Why are we doing the boom, the and then we also had the different version, that more laid back half tempo one. Interesting and really cool. Really cool. Switching a beat up like that adds a lot of dynamics and a lot of variation in a way that makes it really fun to listen to. I do appreciate of course I do. I appreciate the slower version more than the sped up double tempo thing, but it's cool to have both. You use the sample in a really cool way, pitched up, in a way that I feel, yeah, that's a good way to do it. Beats Platoon. Have we heard a lot of like up-tempo stuff from you before? Not sure. But this was good. Appreciated it. My sample was in there. I recognized a bunch of parts of it. Super cool. Now I'm noticing someone in this list that I'm pretty sure we played last night. Because I'm in the wrong document. Damn. Beats Platoon. There we are. Played. Boom. Let's move on. Someone called Kol DR13. Kol DR13. Kol Dr. 30. I don't know. Hello. I made this beat in FL Studio with Serato sample. That's kind of all we need to know, right? You made it in FL Studio with Serato sample, and I want to hear what it sounds like. Let's go! nice and vibey and kind of summery and, you know, a feel-good vibe to the same sample we all used. I think it's really interesting how these 4 chords I used to make the sample can be used in so many different ways and make different kind of emotional aspects of the thing being present. To me, that's really, really cool. Because when it all comes down to it, it's just a bunch of notes thrown together, right? So if you want to separate them and like rearrange everything, that's the beauty of sampling, I guess. But now, as I'm noticing how people are building up different chord structures and different melody lines and stuff out of the same thing, to me, I just think it's awesome. So freaking cool. This was a good example of that. Like taking all the stuff, making it really musical and melodic, and in this case, kind of positive and uplifting in a nice and cozy, laid back way. Good stuff. Good freaking stuff. And this one came from... Now I lost my marker. There we are. Kol DR13. Thanks a lot for that submission. Again, it made me think about the material in a different way than before. Really cool, really cool. Let's look for a submission up here. This one. Disaster Chester. Disaster Chester. Yeah, that's right. Disaster Chester says, made the beat with my MPC Live 2. Thank you, Accurate, for being an inspiration. Thank you. Disaster Chester. Okay, now I misclicked. There we are. Played. Disaster Chester with a submission. Here we go. Okay, it's really quiet. That's all I can do with the volume. Damn, that's super quiet. I can't raise the volume anymore like that. I should be able to do it on here. Nope, that's totally maxed out. So, yeah, I'm not sure how to do this. I guess I'm gonna shut my mic off and, increase the volume on your device, because that's gonna be needed in order to hear this one. I can't do anything more, so I'm just gonna shut up. We're gonna listen to the beat. Feel free to raise the volume and then take it back down. Well, that's unfortunate. Sure, I'm reading the chat. I could import this audio file into a DAW, raise the volume, and get it back out. But sometimes, the setup is what it is right now. If I open up another instance that takes control of the audio interface, I might lose everything. So it's not that simple, because I'm running everything on the same computer right now. Should we spend a minute to do this? I just figured out how I could fix it by using my other computer. Is it? Well, I think it's just fair. yeah, I'm gonna do this. Just to be fair to the guy who made it, because the music itself, I heard it a little bit and it felt kind of cool. Network, Mac Mini, share screen. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go in here. This is gonna be a little bit of a breather for us too. So why not? Let's take that one and just put it into there. Now it's on that computer. And that computer doesn't have don't have a great media player on that. So let's go Logic. If this takes too long, I'm just not gonna bother, but right now it feels like I could still do this. And we need a little bit of a breather, I think. Somewhat of a break. Where's the submission? Chester? Oh, it might be a codec kind of thing. I can't even pull this audio file into a DAW. Huh. Something might be up. Downloading VLC on that computer feels like too much work. I don't want to, honestly, I don't want to pull up anything else on my main computer and like fiddle about with the settings, because it works right now. So no, unfortunately. That didn't work. My quick fix did absolutely nothing. Yesterday there were 2 breaks. That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, let's call this a real break. Let me do this. Someone took the time to use my sample and made a composition, so let's at least give him the opportunity to be heard. Now I'm all stressed up too, so okay. I think the easiest thing would be to, yeah. Let's consider this a break, for real. I think this should do it. If I just do this. The alternative here would be to run off and find an adapter for my phone and like do the whole thing, which seems even less productive in this case. So we're going to download VLC on my secondary computer because I know VLC can play the file. So I'm downloading VLC media player and I'm installing it on the secondary computer. It's now 5 seconds from being installed. There we are. So now we should be able to find it. Applications, VLC. Cool stuff, cool stuff. No thanks. It's a little bit louder, at least for me. I'm not sure it's coming out to you guys at all yet, but I'm working on it. if you only knew how much tech is involved in this, yeah, you can't hear that at all. Makes sense. So now we need to add another audio capture. Mac Mini. So we're gonna use Universal Audio Thunderbolt. That's gonna be track number 6. Line 6. Boom. Mac Mini, where are you? There you are. Which means now I can go like 15 dB. Okay, let's give this a try. Hopefully we're going to be able to hear it. It's coming through. Okay. Disaster Chester had a really low volume on his track, but now it should be done, so let's listen to it. For real. Yeah. At least I tried. I tried my absolute best. I installed a software on my secondary computer, played it from there, did the whole thing. Whatever. This one had a cool vibe to it. Using a lot of the strings and like building this entire like super moody and sentimental kind of serious thing. Felt really cinematic and cool to me, but you know, not a lot of energy in there, just beautifulness from the sample flipped around and worked with in a way that makes a lot of sense. Again, a really inspiring kind of example of how you can use a sample like this. Now, sorry for making that take so much time, but it was like one of the more silent audio files I've ever seen or heard. So let's move on to another one and hope for the volume to be louder, at least. It couldn't be more quiet. Couldn't be less volume. From the next submission from Sarhe Shukta, who says, "My artist name is Creo Ninja. At first of all, thank you for this challenge and the nice instrumentals. I really enjoyed making this beat. Home studio producer, 34 years old, village downshifter from Belarus." Belarus. Cool. International stuff right here. Let's play some music from Belarus. Why not? Creo Ninja. Here we go. God damn it. Okay, it's really loud on my headphones, not for you guys. Did I do something wrong here? I think I did. I didn't. Everything's fine. Let's go. I mean, we can talk about music production, we can talk about beat making, we can talk about hip hop and whatever. When it all comes down to it, we're talking about art, right? And art is subjective, personal, sometimes deep and kind of, important to us. Taste is a thing, and subjectivity is definitely a thing. This is someone who took my sample, applied it to his, I think, style and his aesthetics, and I found this one a little bit hard to listen to because of the noise and the loudness and everything, and it's cool, it's aggressive, it says something, it's definitely art. It's artistic in a lot of ways, it's really cool. To me, there's too much stuff in there. My sample is worked with in a way that is pretty cool. You used it in a really creative way and you did something special and unique with the sample. I'm not saying that anything is wrong with it. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm just saying that this is different from many of the things we've heard. Because of the aggression, because of the noise, because of the distortion, because of the it's cool. More cool in kind of an artistic way than anything else, but I don't hate it. And seeing or hearing my stuff being used in this way, I love it. Love it. Really cool. And a production from Belarus. You know, that's fun. That's nice. Now let's move to someone else. Let's get into Carbon Vibes. Carbon Vibes has been with us for a while. Came in with a super chat just a few minutes ago. But here we are. Carbon Vibes with the message saying, "Hi, Accurate. Hope you're doing well and thanks again for setting this up. Today I bring you a track of 2 different flavors. The first part, I did something I've never done before. Cleaned up the audio track, then passed it through the plugin Beam from Ben Jordan. Then took it to the MPC and chopped up the audio. I added piano and strings. The drums I used from your Salt sample pack. The second part is completely used. I completely used my MPC only. Hope you enjoy it, and I can't wait to hear what everyone comes up with. Much respect, Carbon Vibes." Now I zoomed out, so I lost track of everything. Carbon, where are you? Okay. Carbon. There. So you also use drums from my sample pack, Salt. I need to check back on that one. Is it even usable? I don't know. Carbon Vibes, one of the classics, one of the regulars on the show. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Why is my volume that crazy? Okay, something has happened with my entire thing. Mac Mini, that's the one. Audio, VLC. Did I change that setting? Damn, boy. I might have messed something up. No, that should be fine. I think what's coming out on your end is totally fine. It's just my voice being really quiet in my headphones. I'm just going to have to adapt. Right now, let's listen to Carbon Vibes.
Carbone.
So, we need to take a little bit of a break again. We need to talk. Something is messed up with my audio. What I heard from that one was, I've never heard anything from Carbon Vibes being distorted. Is it a creative choice you made here, or is it not distorted and it's just my playback that's distorted? Please help me out. Please help me out. You guys are saying that it's a little bit low. That could be fixed, but in my headphones right now, it's distorted. That one too. Okay, that says it all. It's something with my setup. I need to fix that because everything is super distorted and overdriven in my headphones for some reason. I think I'm gonna have to reboot OBS. The stream should still be live, I think. Shit, I'm not sure. It wasn't distorted. Okay, so everything is massively distorted on my headphones for some reason. Even like something else. Yeah, it sounds awful. Sounds just awful. Is anything feedbacking somewhere? 1, 2, 1. That's my. That's VLC. Okay, that's a result. Let me double check on this. We haven't had a lot of technical issues at all, but right now something is happening. At that volume it sounds perfect to me, but I know it's really quiet on your end. I know. There's some sort of distortion going on my end. You can't hear that. I know. Maybe we can play mine again. Creo Ninja. Yeah. Sure. I mean, everything I said about your submission being like overly distorted and super busy and crazy, that's not on you. That's on me. Something is messed up. So Creo Ninja, 100%. I take everything back. Now, I'm not sure how to fix this, actually. VLC. That's not what you do. Okay, maybe I just need to do this. Maybe that's all. Maybe I need to do... Okay, something is up with that. Now I see. Same shit again. It's something inside of my streaming software, OBS, that kind of messed up. So I'm gonna try to restart VLC. Restart my OBS. No, okay, maybe let's restart VLC first of all. Yes, I'm using VLC for this. Restarting the app. Let's take that one again. Okay, now I can hear it. Nope. OBS needs to be restarted. The stream might go down, but then we're up again. I think the stream should stay live. I'm not 100% sure. I just need to reboot. Hold on. Yeah, the stream will shut down, but maybe I'm gonna be able to reconnect to the same stream. So, I think we are live again. If we are live again, please say the number 4 in the chat. Just a simple 4, hit enter, just so I know you can actually see and hear me right now. We are live. Having a little bit of issues now, Thank you, Carbon, number 4. So now we need to redo things. That's fine. VLC properties. Can't even restart the capture. Okay, something is wrong with that. But I have a way to fix that. We can do that. I'm gonna fiddle about with the volumes, so it's gonna be louder than what it is right now, but my voice is gonna stay the same, so the music, I need to make some adjustments. Hold on, that's what I'm saying. One, two, one, two, one, two. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Carbone.
Man, it seems it seems to be working. Sorry about that. Sometimes we have some issues. OBS is not happy, like live streaming. How much, you know. The stream is up and the volume should be fine. That volume on the beat sounds okay, right? Getting video glitches now? For real? We're getting video glitches? Maybe not. I don't know. But you know what? I only think it's fair. You guys seem to have heard the thing the right way around. I didn't. So I'm going to just listen to 1 minute of the last submission to Creo Ninja. I talked about it being like too distorted and stuff. That's not on him. That's my bad. So Creo Ninja. Let's listen to that one. Not the entire thing again, but you know. Okay, so now I'm hearing that submission without all the crazy distortion, and it's way more tolerable, you know. This is still one of those submissions where you've used the sample in a way that's so unexpected that someone like me who made the sample and has now heard like 70 tracks of the same sample becomes a little bit confused about how you use the thing and what sections you used where. It's good, it's just different. But now I'm getting the right audio. It's not super distorted. I know what you did, and I don't hate it. But you know, those big kind of synths on top of it all, it's a choice. I'm still saying what I said before, except from the distortion part. It's nice. It's unique, and it's your own. I don't hate it, and I think it's cool to hear an example. And come on, guys, now I'm all worried. Give me a heads up, for real, in the chat, both for the video and the audio. Are we talking double thumbs up for the video and the audio, or is any of the two parts not good? I need to know. We're doing this for, you know, 2 hours, I guess, 2 more hours. So I want things to be stable and working. The audio and the video. The first emoji is for the video. The second one is for the audio. So video, audio, or video, audio, or video, audio. Just need to know. Carbon vibes, let's go again. What I heard from your submission was not right.
Carbone.
Yeah, that sounds like you, Carbon Vibes. Great stuff. Nice switch up. And the bass line in this second situation, the second part over here, the bass line does the entire thing. Great job. Again, I gotta say it. I'm proud to be kind of a part in the making of that beat. You know, it's not like we collaborated. I know, but you still used my sample, and I like it. Damn. Carbon Vibes always comes in with good stuff. What I heard the first time around was exactly what it is, but like overdriven to the max. You know, distortion all the way. So thank you. And the stream seems to be up and running, and it seems to be working all right. I guess we don't have any viewers anymore. Yeah, a few of them. Cool. It feels like we're back on track. Let's dive into the next submission and make sure to just keep listening to these wonderful beats by you guys. Which means I'm gonna have to find another submission in the spreadsheet right here. 6 Genese. SIKSGEANES. That's the name. And the message goes, I'm an avid watcher of your beat reviews. Prism put me onto your channel and thought I might like participating in this particular challenge. I absolutely enjoyed chopping this one up. Cool stuff. And you got pointed to this channel from Prism. Awesome stuff. And by the way, I don't do this a lot, but if you are here right now, do me the favor of subscribing to this channel. I never tell people to subscribe anymore, but now it would be kind of cool. I've been stuck at 109,000 subscribers for I don't even know how long. Could we hit 110,000? Would be awesome. So, subscribe. I'm a YouTuber. Yeah. Nice and dark and vibey and just, that's cool. I like the drum pattern. Nice and heavy. Using my sample like that, getting that kind of moodiness out of it, that's one of the reasons why we do this entire thing. Getting to hear how other people would interpret the same sample material is so beneficial, so inspirational, and, this is just a great example of how you can think differently. How this guy flipped the sample was impressive and interesting to me. Hands down. Hands down. Good stuff. Good stuff. And you have been played. Played 02. Cool. I think we are getting a few glitches and dropped frames on the video. It does look like it, but right now I can't do much about it. So if the audio comes through and the music comes through perfectly, that's more important than me moving my hands and it's being totally fluid. Dropping a few frames is not the end of the world, but still kind of mad about it. Because I am what I am. Fucking technology nerd. So, let's jump into JRC Beat. We've heard a lot from him over the years in the live streams, and here we have a submission for this Flip the Sample challenge. He says, "Hi Accurate, glad we finally got a sample flip challenge here on the channel. This was a lot of fun, but honestly I only used the Rhodes section of the sample as the base for the song. I'm actually loving it so much that I want to put it onto my next project, as long as you're okay with it." Of course I'm okay with it. It's just, that's one of the purposes. Still needs to do some final mixing and re-recording of the vocals and the guitar with session musicians, but that will happen over the next few months. Hope y'all enjoy it. From JRC Beats. I mean, anyone is more than welcome to do whatever you want with the music you make with the sample. The sample is free. What you made with it is totally your production, your IP. It's not the word, whatever. Feel free. JRC Beats, let's go. And of course, a nice and smooth fade out. Damn. Who said that? Made So Well says, well, I'm pregnant. Yeah. Super sexy, super smooth stuff. I mean, honestly speaking, we are on such a high level here. The creativity, like using my sample for this, it's just amazing. And that saxophone together with the guitar licks and everything, and the vocal chops and like the entire like vibe and the sonics of everything. Ugh. Pro level shit. JRC, this was just a blast listening to. You blessed the sample with so many great things. I mean, I'm in the lack for words here. It's really good. Really good. Feels to me like you put a lot of effort into that. And, you know, sometimes it also felt like one thing just happened after another and it all just worked. But finding the pitch and finding stuff that works together with the scale and everything, shit. Really musical, really cool, fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff right there. JRC, I salute you. 100%. So now let's find someone else. There's a lot of beats now that has been played. A lot of them. And I actually have... That's one. From someone called Michael. Michael Lapp. With a submission. Oh my god. Michael Lapp, the submission is right there. The message goes, I'm DJ FMD from Denmark. I made this beat in Logic Pro and Serato Sampler. And then a link to an Instagram and to a YouTube video and to a Spotify thing. You released this one on Spotify already? Which will probably give me a copyright strike. Nice. We're going to listen to the audio right now from DJ FMD from Denmark. Let's go. Nice. I like that snare drum on this. Like the snare drum a lot. And the bass line in this one made a big difference. You know, people are using the same sample in so many ways that I have a hard time coming up with stuff to say. This is interesting and cool. A different way of using it, but still not that kind of crazy. And that's what we do, right? Sometimes you have a sample, you chop it up, you just find a pattern, you start working on it, and then it becomes a production. That's the beautiful part of it all. So every single submission here won't be like super crazy. You flipped the sample enough, you made a lot of stuff with it, you made it your own, and you made something unique and cool with it. That's the important thing. And that's what I gotta keep in mind here. I gotta remember that I made the material for you guys to sit there and work with. It's a blessed position to have, and I appreciate it a lot. Music like this, that's just a good freaking track. You know, nothing more, nothing less. Great stuff from Denmark. Not too far from Sweden. Michael. No, he had a name. DJ FMD. Played 02. Boom. There we are. And just because you asked, Blaze Beats, you are in the spreadsheet. And I think it's your time to be played. I think it's your turn. And it came in a little bit later, so in this case, yes, I do. Sorry. Blaze Beats says, thank you so much, Ak. I've been waiting for this day for a very long time. I know you have. I hope you and the homies in the chat like it. I woke up this morning and knocked it out in 2 hours. Once again, thank you. All in caps. And yeah, Blaze Beats is one of those who has been asking me for a long time to provide a sample. Now I did, and he responded with making a beat out of it. In 2 hours. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Blaze Beats, here we go. That had a lot of swing. And again, someone who used the arpeggio thing in a really different way. Nice. A really nice way to flip it. And I mean, downloading, I can't imagine downloading this entire sample for like 3 minutes or whatever it is, and just not going for the guitar, not going for the Rhodes, not going for the, the string section with the cello and stuff, just using this. I think that might be something I recorded on the Mini Freak later on. When I had the entire thing, I just added something. I took this arpeggio thing, played the same chord. I think that was from the Mini Freak. like a preset with a few tweaks and whatever. And you used that and you made this. So cool. So cool. That rhythm worked really well for this. A really good mix, a really good combination. But I don't understand what you're thinking. You're not using all the other parts, you're just using that. I'm not hating on it. I think it's cool. I think it's wonderful. It's just a different choice to do. You know? Different choice to make, I guess. Now, I'm looking into my email at the same time as I have the spreadsheet, and I'm live streaming, and I'm dealing with the audio. You know, it's a lot. It's involved. I'm really talented and good. I'm one of the best out there. Words. What I'm trying to say here is that I have one submission from someone who reached out. The name is Dexter. DXT. I saw him just a second ago in the spreadsheet. There we are. First of all, he sent me a submission. Okay, let's read it first. The artist name is DKSTR, spelled like Dexter, or pronounced like Dexter, I guess. I used a chord/tail, whatever, from somewhere in the track for most of the track, plus some arpeggio kind of synths at the end. Top of that, just drums and a bass line with one sample plus bit synths to freshen it up. Much love to my Squee fam. The lyrics are, "Welcome to Inaccurate Beats. This sample was made by a Swede. I took it back to Helsinki, and this is what I did." And then he sent me an email. Accidentally sent you the version of the track that had parts adjusted for having raps in it. So your sample was way, way lower. If this can be used instead as my submission, that's great. If not, then that's how it goes. I actually caught this. And this is not me promising to always do this great of a job, but right now I did. So this should be the proper version from Dexter. Let's freaking go. at the end. I mean, I think that's a first incorporation of a vocoder we've had. Thank you for writing the lyrics in the email, because the lyrics were not really easy to hear. But yeah, a vocoder together with that really West Coasty kind of synth bass. Nice touch. It's cool. I liked all the synthesizer stuff on top of it all to make it even more West Coast. Feels old school and cool and kind of funky that way. But also a little bit modern with like the drum programming. Not like pure old school West Coast hip hop. A little bit of a switch up. That's nice. That's cool. Made in Finland, obviously. Helsinki. Or Helsingfors, as we're saying over here. Now we need to find you in the spreadsheet again. Dexter. There you are. And mark you as... I lost it 3 times. Impressive. Played. Boom. Thanks a lot, Dexter. A really cool submission. A really cool way to use the sample in that sort of a flip. Aleandro Foritary, you've been played. Is this the wrong document again? This is the wrong document. My freaking bad. Where's the right document then? There. Dexter needs to be... Okay. Played. Cool. I'm not saying that we're running out of submissions. We have a few more left, but, you know, the amount is not increasing. Let's go for one of the later ones. Let's go for David Bercutta. There you are in the other spreadsheet. So, hi. Thanks for sharing the sample. I took some chops from the electric piano and some of the strings. Also a bit of the synth from the end of the sample. I added drums, bass, vocals, synths, and some guitar. I hope you like it. All the best from near Hamburg, Germany. Bercutta. Cool. Another one from Germany. We like that. We like everyone. We like all the countries. But right now, let's go. Cool. I mean, those drums. The mixing and the processing of everything is really cool in this one. You obviously know what you're doing. It sounds really good. The swing and the vibes of it all. The drums was like the huge part of this one. That snare drum going like psh, with some sort of whatever that's called, a tambourine or whatever. Awesome stuff. Went really creative with the sample too, using both the cello and the other string parts and everything in a cool way. I do appreciate that a lot. That's from Bearcutter, right? Bearcutter, maybe. It's been played and marked off the list. Cool stuff. Blaze Beats has also been played. I need to mark it as played. Let's see. This is also someone with at least a name that makes me think about Finland. Arto Yalonen. Arto Yalonen. Whatever. Thanks for sample. My producer friend DJ P. Cole showed me this and I could not help myself, so I participated. Have fun. It's a remake from my Tun Takas by A Real. I totally flipped the sample main verse. The main verses are reversed and made some nice stutters to chorus. The sample itself was not my favorite, but I think it became a nice boom bap beat in 93 BPM. You know, that's a part of it. I knew that this sample wasn't gonna appeal to everyone, and that's just what it is. If you use the sample even though you don't necessarily love it, I think that says even more about your capabilities in a positive way. Now I lost my OBS window. There we are. So, let's go.
Yo, painin karhujen kanssa ja taivaalla lennän kotka seurassa. Ajatukset teräviä kuin katana, mieli vahvaan paras turvasatama. Train your mind, että se on tikis. Et suostu siihen, et it is what it is. Koska muitakin vaihtoehtoi. Korkeet lentoi, määritän itseni ehtoi. Muurit tulee vielä katu edes. Puus with me, ootko sä ja sä meges. Suosittele tule johtajan vanna vedes. Ennen voittoa en laske sotakirves. Paina loppu saakka raivolla. Hävitä strategisesti kaik painojat. Ei väliä painolla, selkä tulee kestää. Ei real on se joka pelaa, ei pelkää. Et voi paina alas, tuun takas. Vaikka paino jalas, mä tuun takas. Aina tuli takas, kun tuun takas. Kun on este vastas, mä tuun takas. Et voi paina alas, tuun takas. Vaikka paino jalas, mä tuun takas. Aina tuli takas, kun tuun takas. Kun on este vastas, mä tuun takas. Yrititte hukuttaa, tulin takas. Ei jässi vaan kunkkuja nostin pakas. En oo vaan sotamies, vaan sotaherra. Raatten tie voidaan mennä uuden kerran. Vaiks tyki pauha ja haavoitun. Pala vahveen vanna takaisin korsuun. Välä cheat-koodit IDD, QD, ID, KFA, all arms. Cool mate, tää titanin kuori kestää kyllä iskut. Aamuisin on vitskut, eteenpäin potkinut. Siksi se luhistu vaik ikää vie 40. Parasta aikaa charmia asteiko 70. Nettikulta aikana jengi valuttaa. Paskaa alaspäin eikä osaa tavuttaa. Älkää olko huolissaan on back. En koskaan lähtenyt tästä teille. Smack that. Smack that. Et voi paina alas, tuun takas. Vaikka paino jalas, mä tuun takas. Aina tuli takas, kun tuun takas. Kun on este vastas, mä tuun takas. Et voi paina alas, tuun takas. Vaikka paino jalas, mä tuun takas. Aina tuli takas, kun tuun takas. Kun on este vastas, mä tuun takas. Tuun takas. Mä tuun takas. Kun tuun takas. Mä tuun takas. Tuun takas.
Cool. Just to get into this real quick, I'm in Sweden, right? This is from Finland, so kind of close by. But the Swedish language and the Finnish language comes from two totally different like stems of language. So Finnish is to me as foreign as I don't know, Spanish, even worse actually. It's a whole different language. You know, it's we don't have. I think we have like 2 or 3 words in common, but yeah, I don't know anything about the lyrics here. Totally chaos. But you know, having a song you made and then just using that a cappella for a remix with my sample in it, I'm not gonna hate it. That's cool. That's not a bad idea. I used to do that stuff like that myself. I used to rap in a group, and you know, I made all the beats, switching out the beats every now and then. Kind of a cool thing to do, making remixes out of your own stuff. Using my sample like this, awesome stuff. Impressive, inspiring, good stuff. If I can be a little bit critical, I'm not sure I love the hi-hats pattern of this. Feels a little bit too involved for this style, but that's my opinion. The fact that you took the time to use my sample and put it on this, I love it. Crazy. And it's the first piece of Finnish rap we've had on any of my live streams. So that's good. Introducing the Finnish hip-hop scene to a little bit of a bigger audience. Or a broader audience, I should say. The way I understood it from this, this person or a friend of his is rapping. So it's like made by them. It's not just a taken a cappella. As far as I understood. And this was that submission right there. Has been played. No, I need to do a space between that so I can search for it. Cool. And we are getting to the bottom of the list. Someone called Clemo or Clemo made a submission. And the message goes, some rough, quick built. That's all it said. Greetings from Berlin. Some rough, quick built. Okay, cool. So it's rough and it's quickly built, I guess. From, who was this? Clemo. Let's go. That's cool. That type of, I mean, I know there's a bunch of stuff going into this, but I'm still going to call this style somewhat minimalistic. It's a word that I would love to be able to make stuff like this myself. Just constraining myself to keeping it simple, not going overboard with working on things too much, just, allowing things to be nice and simple and somewhat minimalistic. There's a lot of space on this one for a rapper or maybe a singer or, whatever. It has definitely a cool vibe to it. It's nice and relaxed and laid back and, a great use of the sample. But to me, it's just impressive to keep it that straight up. I wish I had that, but I just don't. So whatever. And this was a submission from Clemo. Played space 02. Cool. We are closing in on 3 hours of the stream, which means now my list in VLC got resetted because I did all the things with the super quiet one. So I don't know how many beats were played exactly. 10 since we had all the issues and the restart. And my list is getting short. It's not short. The entire list is here and I just mark things as played. So if I'm looking for names of producers here that hasn't been played, we have one right there. Another one from Finland. Yeah, it's another one from Finland with Finnish rap. What? Are you guys friends or something? I think you might be. But let's play this one too, of course. It's been submitted and it's hopefully using my sample, so sure. Hello and greetings from Finland. Can you believe this? I made a remix of a song I produced for my friend using your sample. Don't worry, I got my friend's permission to play this live. The song is in Finnish, but the lyrics could be described as an anti-roadman message. I programmed drums with MPC 2000 and chopped samples, this time in DAW FL Studio. I also use filters of the Roland SP4 Mark II sampler to give the samples a tone. I basically played the tunes through the sampler. I mixed and mastered the song, but I'm pretty bad at it, so I apologize for the quality of the finish. Usually my music is finished by professionals. Finally, thank you for the high quality videos. They have been a great inspiration. I've been making music since the early 2000s, but during the pandemic your videos inspired me to invest in it and release it to the public. Awesome. Let's keep up the good work. Rappers are welcome to contact for beats. Best regards, DJ P. Cool, who was mentioned in the other one from Finland. And I saw you in the chat room too. So this is DJ P. Cool, who did pretty much the same thing. Did a remix of his own and his friend's work and used my samples for it. Is it the same track? Doesn't look like it. Please explain this in the chat room. I don't understand. Do you guys know each other or are you in the same kind of... I don't know. Let's play this one too.
Ootko valmis? Yeah. Mä oon venannut päässyt sanotte kaiken. Let's get it. Joo, tällä pyssyt menee fa. Jengi muuttaa muotoa niinku parpa. Mä haluun rauhaa, en totta samaa niinku noin. Ne gangstailee videoilmaa niinku Zulu mammas boy. Niillä on iris pinkas, pidä piiris himas. Mä oon varautunut tääl, mulla on isot pläänit vihas. Mun jutut on fly niinku Superman. Älä broidi unta, näet rikot pysyy mulla päällä. En käännä rotsyy, turha tulla yrittää. Vaik voisin kuinka high, niin en silti ammu ylittää. Low huoliproidi. Noi sun mielihalu tuhoo kaiken hittaa niinku asteroidi. Kuuluu kun se tajuaa. Oisko sulle vähän heurekasta apua? Ei noin baarissa selkäsi taputa, kun lopettaa haluat, se on kasvu, se sattuu. Kun sataa sitä kastuu ja välillä palaa alkuun. Mut älä huoli broidi, aina uusi aamu saapuu. For real, lopeta toi gangstalarppu. Fuck joku somehaippi, ditsa toi sun sidekick. Shit, mieluummin yksin ja raiti. Mieluummin streittaa koko life.
You know what, guys? That's my sample in there. He used my sample for this. He made a remix with some Finnish rappers, and he used my sample. You all did. Sometimes tonight in this stream, I'm forgetting about the fact that it's all my sample. I'm not forgetting about it. That's saying the wrong thing. But sometimes, right now, I'm a part of that. I'm actually a fucking part of all the tracks we've heard. All the 79 of them. I'm a part of it. Because it's my material from the beginning. I mean, to me, this is so cool. I love it. This track was kind of cool. Dark and gritty. Slow with the oomph and the snare. The Finnish rapping is still totally foreign to me. I don't know anything. But it sounds cool. And you made it you programmed the drums on the MPC 2000 and you used FL Studio and the SP404. It's cool. This is good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks a lot for joining in and using the sample. And I think what you did with it was good stuff. Good stuff. I'm noticing now that I have a duplicate in one of the lines. So I keep saying 79. I think it's going to be 78. And I also have one on the email, so it's back to 79. It's not that important, but around 80 beats. And I also have one. What I can figure out from this document right now, I only have 2 more submissions to go. So let's play this one. And we're going to open up the other document for that. Boom. The next submission comes from none other than Moldy Thoughts. Moldy Thoughts with a submission. And a message. He says, Yo, Ak. Cheap, lazy flip, made on the phone. Bad earphones, bad mix, had no time, shares. You know what? You still decided to do something and you still decided to send it in. And I think that's awesome. Moldy Thoughts has been around in other live streams of mine, so let's give him a listen. Moldy Thoughts, made on the phone. Let's go. You know, this guy... You know, this guy... This guy, Moldy Thoughts, has been submitting beats for the Beat Review show a lot. And this doesn't sound like what he normally does, or what he normally makes. It's not bad, and I think it's really impressive that you made this on a phone and you used so many different parts of the sample. I mean, the vibe here is super, super vibey and moody and laid back and kind of lo-fi in a really cool way. This is music that could work, like, you know, in a video game or something like that, when it doesn't take all the attention. It's just there, playing a part, being cool, being awesome. And I feel like my sample worked really well for this. I'm sure if you had more time and you did it in a different way, it would be a total different kind of outcome. But just hearing what you did with the sample, being kind of, you know, didn't really have the time and didn't really, you know, made it on the phone or whatever, still kind of cool, still good, still my sample. So the original material is, of course, fire. So I'm going to double check on everything, but I think this might be the last submission that came in after the deadline. Came in today over email instead of the proper way, which shouldn't be allowed. But you know, I'm soft. I'm soft and sensitive. Kind of a nice guy, actually. But if you take my sample and you spend time to work on it and you make a beat with my sample, I think that has a value in itself. I appreciate that a lot. And the fact that you didn't send it in the way you were supposed to, whatever, man. You still made it. You still sent it in. I think it just makes sense to play it. No message or nothing like that. This is just from the guy who were here before. Oh, played Otto. The guy who were in the chat room before, called DJ Productions something, sent me the submission too. So let's play it. there's no rules in art. There's no rules for beat making. I know, there are a few rules. And I didn't have any rules for how much of my sample needs to be used or how obvious it needs to be. In this case, I heard traces of it. I did. And I asked you and you said you had it. 100%. It's in there. It's fine. It's cool. The fact that you added so many things to it and made everything work, I know what that's like. It takes a lot of work to make everything kind of work and flow cohesively when you're working with samples from a third-party source and whatever. I think you did a really great job. The swing of the drums and everything is awesome. Really like this one. Appreciate everything about it. And the fact that my sample is kind of hidden in there doesn't matter at all. I don't mind that whatsoever. The fact that you were able to squeeze it in is just cool in itself. Cool in itself. Now, that might actually have been the last one. Your name was DJ. I gotta add you to the spreadsheet manually. DJ Productions with a C and 911 at the end. DJ Productions 911. Boom. Okay. Now I need to lean back for a little bit. First of all, do we have anyone watching still? I know this is going on for a long time. Yesterday we did 4 hours and we had kind of a higher tempo. Today it is what it is. It's still a good time. And listening to all these beats is still a fantastic experience. For me, if nothing else. Maybe for some of you too that made something to hear different interpretations of it. Now I need to go through all the lines in my spreadsheet and actually double check that everything has been played. Yeah, I'm gonna fix a real proper system for this, but right now it's really manual. Played. There's of course there's a chance or a risk that I've totally missed something, but I'm doing my best. All right, doing my best. Everything here has been played. Error Kit was played yesterday. Okay, these ones I did not mark these ones as played, but I know I played them. That's the first, second, and third beat for the first episode. So that's it. Everything has been played. Over the course of 2 live streams, 4 hours yesterday and 3 hours and 20 minutes today, minus a bunch of technical issues, we've played, I'm just going to say a number. I'm not exactly sure, but somewhere between 78 and 80. So I'm going to say 79. At this point, we've played 79 beats over the course of 2 live streams in 2 nights. Hours of live streaming. Damn. I mean, it feels like I'm going to have to rewatch, at least not the entire thing, of course, that would be crazy, but like parts of these live streams, or just revisiting the files themselves and just listen to a few examples. Because right now it's a lot to digest, it's a lot to take in. 80 beats with the same sample, my sample. This was, to me, this was a really valuable experience. Giving you guys a sample like this and then getting that number of submissions, 79 of them, I still think it's totally crazy. For the next volume, the next episode of this, volume 2, I'm going to do things kind of the same way, maybe a little bit differently. I'm going to make a sample, provide it to you guys, and wait for the submissions to come in. The fact that we have so many talented producers in the community is so crazy. I guess some of you are like real professionals, and a lot of you are basically just people in a home studio or people with an MPC in bed or whatever. This community is valuable. It is. And the different people being into it, and like, you know, on the Discord channel, for instance, we have people in there that are like some of the nicest people on the entire internet. Some of the most talented beat makers I've ever heard. At least on a hobby kind of level. Awesome stuff. And the way people use the same sample in so many different ways. We heard jungle, we heard lo-fi, super slow, super heavy stuff, really energetic, up-tempo things. We heard something that, you know, drum and bass. We had this guy singing that made it sound like a power ballad kind of thing, all using the same sample. To me, that's just magical to see how people are able to make art using something that I just provided. And I think you had like 1.5 weeks to do it. And we had 79 submissions. Damn. It's really cool. Where do you have the time to create your track? Well, I had time. I made a beat. Should we play my track too? I will share my thoughts on the Discord. Please do. I'm still workshopping this entire thing. And except from that little thing with the really low volume one that kind of broke my OBS setup, to me, it feels like the pacing and the technology has worked out. Even though I could be a little bit quicker between beats sometimes. I know. Yesterday, I did a better job, I think. But yeah. So many beats, so many submissions, so many talented producers, and so much music. 4 + 3, that's 7 hours of live streaming. Playing beats, talking quickly between them and whatever. So I have a submission too. And of course, as you do, I have 2 alternate mix versions of it. So right now I'm going to have to decide which one to play. Doesn't matter that much, but still. It's in my Dropbox. Flip the sample. My submission. There we are. So, keep in mind that even though I made the sample and I'm hosting this entire thing and I have this channel and this, you know, I'm not a better producer than any of you. And I don't claim to be. Whenever I say what I think about something, it's me and my opinions. It's not a professional, like, evaluating anything. That's not my position. That's not who I am. That's not who I claim to be. My submission here was made between things. I'm also working on other stuff. Videos for something upcoming. That's going to be kind of cool. And yeah, flipping my own sample is... I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm using the sample as anyone else would do. Only that I maybe might have a little bit more information about the notes included or whatever. But yeah, I'm the host of this. I'm the guy who made the sample. I don't claim to be a better beat maker or producer than anyone else. I don't claim to be a better beat maker or a better producer than anyone else. I don't think my submission is bad though. That's not what I'm saying. I'm kind of proud of it, even though as always, I need to revisit it and like, you know, adjust the mixing and everything that we all do. But as a rough mix, as a first little thing, I think it's kind of cool. I would have turned this into a train wreck if I was hosting. I don't think you would. I mean, hosting this is not difficult or anything. It's just a lot of cameras and tech and whatever. And you know stuff like that too, James Rockwell. I'm just saying, it's been a lot, you know. 4 hours of live stream yesterday, playing 46 beats and something like 35 or something today. I'm getting tired. What can I say? What can I say? Just want to see if we have anyone watching. Yeah, not a lot of them, but yeah, not a lot of you. So, the last submission for this entire Flip the Sample Beatmaking Challenge Volume 1 comes from this guy called Accurate Beats. And his message in this spreadsheet goes, hi, my name is Accurate Beats. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Doesn't seem like a very nice guy. This is my submission.
Låt mig ställa frågan, vad handlar det här om egentligen?
That's it. It sounded way different than I thought. Damn, I haven't played it in 2 days. I finished it yesterday. It's not supposed to sound like that. The other mix. Yeah, that's more like what I thought. But whatever. That's my submission. I flipped my own sample. What I'm happy about is that I have 3 different, I always work in 4-bar loops, and I have 3 different sections that are different from one another, which adds to the dynamics and the arrangement of it all. I don't hate that. Don't hate that at all. Not bad. Would give it a 7. Thank you. So, yeah. I need to work on that mix, but I think the chopping and the rhythm of the drums works really well together. The mixing of the bass was not what I intended, but I wanted to do something with that boom, scum, da-dum, scum, that kind of vibe. And I think I did. Yeah, what I like about it is the sample chops. Everything else could be tweaked and mixed. The snare drum needs to be replaced, I think. But yeah, the overall chopping and the pattern, I don't hate it. And it's again the same sample, so cool. Doesn't it always sound better yesterday? Yeah. I mean, I normally actually don't have that problem much. Normally I'm fine with whatever I do when I'm doing the session. And then the next day or the week after, it's kind of close to what I thought it was. This is different. This one doesn't hit the way I thought it did. I also just slapped a quick compressor and the limiter on it. Maybe that kind of messed up some of the dynamics in there. Whatever. Gonna keep working on that. Gonna finish it off and make it even nicer. But yeah. It's at least a 7.5. Thank you. I mean, 7.5 is good. I'm not gonna complain about getting 7.5. If you don't know anything about Swedish politics, which of course you don't, Olof Palme, check him out. Olof Palme, that's the guy in the beginning. Yes, I'm gonna play probably the entire thing again, for me to hear what I can fix.
Låt mig ställa frågan, vad handlar det här om egentligen? I think I need to take this entire beat to... a little bit of a darker place. Pitching everything down, maybe, if that's possible. Replacing the snare. Makes sense. That synth line at the end needs to be a sawtooth instead of whatever that was. Things can always be improved, you know? I do like the chops. I do. For sure. You know what, guys? Do you use the MPC pads at all in the submission? No, I don't. The MPC pads is a really cool functionality. It's cool to have them. I can't say that I've used it a lot at all. I tend to do stuff the way I normally do them. The MPC functionality is not bad at all. But it hasn't yet become a part of my workflow. I haven't integrated the MPC pads in the most effective way. So I just use this MPC No, I don't. I use the arranging system and the whatever, all the new stuff. Some of the new stuff too. But the MPC pads is one of those functionalities that I love having. I think it's a really cool concept, and it's really well executed by Akai. Implemented in a really cool way. I haven't implemented it in my workflow much. That's what that is. Only missing the ARP. Yeah, I actively chose to not do the ARP. And I tried to chop it up as much as possible. I mean, the chops, most of them are tiny and they cut each other off. You know, my style of doing stuff. So if you're just listening to the sample chop, it doesn't make sense at all. It needs everything else to hold it together. And I think it does a decent job of that. Even though the bass line needs to sound different, the snare drum needs to sound different. I think there's potential. I'm gonna try to pitch every single track down a couple of semitones and see if that hits different. If that hits differently, is how you say it. But whatever, you guys have figured out that at this point that this listening party is over. The time in Sweden right now is 20 minutes to midnight. So I need to go to bed, even though I work the night shift at my day job tomorrow. I still need to go to bed. And I'm beat up. Closing in on 8 hours of live streaming in 2 days. I know it's not the end of the world compared to what gamers do these days, but I'm not a gamer. I'm kind of a gamer too, but not in this context. BPM is like 88. I think the BPM for this is 85. That's not the right mix at all. This is the actual better mix. The kick drum also needs more oomph. Needs to be rounder. Yeah, the kick drum needs more volume, more body. Whatever. It's time to say goodnight, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks a lot for being a part of this entire thing. This, Flip the Sample Beatmaking Challenge Volume 1. I think this was a success. I learned a lot. I think some of you learned a lot too. We got to hear a bunch of different ways of working with the same sample, and that's awesome. That's awesome. If I know myself, I'm going to make a whole video talking about this thing. No, I don't think I will. Whatever. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for submitting the beats. If anyone wants to join the Discord, I mean, now we have like 5 people watching, and you are all in there, I guess. But I'm going to do this anyways. I'm going to make a new link. I'm going to edit it to make it not expire. And I'm going to... I don't know why I care right now. But yeah, that's the Discord. A lot of the people in these live streams are hanging out on Discord and talking about whatever amongst themselves. And I'm there too. If you have any type of feedback or any suggestions or opinions or thoughts about this concept and this thing, I would really appreciate that, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun, and I think this is kind of a cool thing. We're going to do it again. If you should, if you plan to timestamp the timeline. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm going to put all the names of the producers in a list like I did on the first episode, but I'm not going to go through and add timestamps. It's too much work, honestly. It's too easy to get things wrong, and it would probably mean that I kind of have to watch at least, out of these 7 hours, I need to watch at least 1 hour of video, even though I'm skipping back and forth. So that's, sorry, I don't think so. So, whatever. Thanks again. I can't say thanks enough because I'm so thankful. I think this was a success, a really cool thing. I appreciate it all. I know a lot of people are doing stuff like this. It's not like I'm unique in any way, but having my community and you guys being here, adding stuff to it, commenting, giving feedback, flipping the sample in so many creative ways is what makes this entire thing cool. Thanks a lot for the support. Thanks a lot for being here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I know it doesn't matter much, but it would just be cool to see the number go over 110k. Just because. It's time to leave. Thanks a lot. By the way, I just got to point this out. The sample is going to stay on the channel, on the website. You can always download the sample from there. I'm going to move it to downloads, I think, or something. I'm going to restructure the website too. You can't submit any more beats for this, of course, but the sample is always free for anyone to download. So, time to run for real. I'm not going to do this entire thing. No, you hang up. You hang up. No, you hang up. I'm going to hang up right now. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Peace out. See you guys in my next